What up, Internet? I am the PC Goblin. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this computer that I got when I was trying to fix it for a lady that I knew, but the hard drive died in it, and it was pretty old. So there really wasn't a whole bunch of reason to replace the hard drive or fix it up with anything, because with about how much money it would have taken to fix the hard drive, she could have spent a little bit more and just gotten a brand new computer. I mean, it would have been a low-end computer, but still better than this thing is. But my daughter's computer died, so I need to give them a computer as quick as I possibly can. So I'm going to be seeing if I can fix this up with a solid state that I already own and a GTX 1080. Now I know it's overkill for this, and it's going to be bottlenecked like crazy in this machine, but it should allow them to do some fun things and until I can get them a better computer. So let's open this up and see just how nasty it is inside. Because the outside, it looks clean now, but I took a couple baby wipes to it and was really cleaning it, and it still looks dirty, and those baby wipes were really disgusting. I don't remember how bad the inside was, but let's go ahead and take a look. Before we open it up real quick, it's got an AMD Athlon 64 X2 dual-core processor, 3800 plus for true multitasking, according to the front, and a Nvidia GeForce 6150 LE. So, ooh. Eek. Gross. Alright, so looking inside, we've got the hard drive. We've got a couple of PCI slots and one PCIe slot. I'm not even sure this power supply is going to be good enough to power the GTX 1080. But if not, I've got another power supply I can shove in there for the time being. Let's go ahead and take this out to my garage, hit this with some compressed air, get it cleaned out, and then we'll start shoving stuff into it. Alright, now that we have it cleaned out, let's open it up and see what we have. So we have some Molex connectors for the optical drive. We have SATA power for the dead hard drive, motherboard connector, CPU power, and that's it. I've got to replace the power supply to get this thing up and going. So we're going to get that done. Alright, my dudes, time to see if this actually works. It's on, we've got power, we got beeping. More beeping. So this machine had two 512 gig sticks of DDR2, 553 megahertz, I think, 4200U memory inside of it, and I just shoved in 4 2 gig sticks for a total of 8 gigs. So I've read before that this machine only supports 4, but I'm curious if with the updated BIOS and much later in the future running 64-bit Windows 7, if we'll actually be able to see more memory. So let's go ahead and open this up. Shows 8 gigs, that's awesome. So earlier this machine was just choking really hard on everything it was doing. I was updating it, and in the middle of, well, during the updates I would get little pop-ups saying, you're running out of memory, try closing programs, but that was literally the only thing running, so it's not like I could close anything, and 1 gig just isn't enough to do anything anymore. So I'm glad that it sees the 8 gigs, so that's good. Now for the exciting thing. So the first game we're going to try and run is Diablo 3. It's an older game, so it should run. So we've got everything maxed out, pulling 88 frames a second on the main screen. But what happens when we start it? Ugh, 30 frames a second. That's not sustainable. And the graphics card can definitely do better than that. So let's see if we can do something to ease that up. So physics are based off the CPU, flutter density. Plenty of VRAM. Ugh. Where's my map? There we go. Okay, just to give it a fair chance, I want to start the game fresh with all those settings. So we're going to reboot it real quick. Miserable 30 frames a second. Okay, well, bouncing in between 30 and 40 frames a second, generally staying at about 30 frames a second, so that's playable. It's not far from great, but it's playable, so we'll exit that. Now we're in StarCraft 2. I've already made all the changes to make sure the CPU is barely used, so everywhere you see Ultra, that's relying on the graphics card. Everything that's off or low or whatever, that's relying on the CPU, so those are all as low as I possibly can go. Let's go ahead and go to the very first level.
Adjutant, what do you got for me?
Dominion forces have set up a logistics headquarters in the town of Backwater Station.
So,
This is the code for all operations on Marsala.
50 frames a second.
Dominion recently pulled troops out of the city, and they are now under strength.
Oh, it's even got up to 60. Ooh, look at that. That's
The
awesome.
people of Backwater Station.
All right, boys. Let's show the locals they don't need to fear the Dominion. Talk to me. You can count on me.
Commander, there are tutorial videos awaiting your review.
28 frames a second, that's
Keep your
bad.
intervals wide, your eyes open, and your ass is covered. Let's move.
Don't go up that road.
Raiders roll. Time. Raider. Kill him. Raiders roll. Sounds like a plan.
Keep a close watch on your neighbor.
I'm getting mighty tired of seeing Meg's face. Blast it. Plan. Raid, where is everyone? You can count on me. Sounds like a plan. Raiders roll. My neighbors. My family. This is starting to
Oh, we're
look
dropping
ugly.
down to 20 frames a
Raiders
second,
roll.
that's bad. Very bad.
Commander, A large Dominion force is gathering in the center of town.
Then it's time to call in that special delivery we talked about. Thanks for the assist. We're with you, Rainer.
Work hard. Stand proud. We got you.
Sounds like a plan. Time to man up. Sounds like a plan. Raiders roll. You can count on me. Kick ass. Thanks has a lot to pay for. Thank you, Rainer. We knew you wouldn't forget us.
There's more people still being held up ahead.
I'll see to that.
Marshal Rainer. Been a while since we saw you around here.
We're with you, Raiders!
This is a restricted area. You insurgents are under arrest. We got your back, Rainer.
Sounds like a plan. Time to man up.
We could fight them.
So this level is very basic,
Now
very
you've got the weapons
easy for the
and the
computer to play
resources to
since
do
it's a
it.
very small map, not a whole lot going on with
X
it.
can only control
And it was struggling pretty hard with that. I think if we dropped the settings a little bit lower, we could do it. Maybe. Because it's relying on the GPU. So I don't know. So just to see if it makes it more playable, if we drop the settings, turned everything down to medium or low. Models is high because I don't want low, period. But other than that, it's all good. So I'll turn the game.
Commander, there are tutorial videos awaiting your review.
Keep your intervals wide, your eyes open, and your asses covered. Let's move.
So 38, 39.
Don't go up that road.
I'm getting mighty tired of seeing Meg's face. Blast it. Where is everyone? My neighbors. My family. This is starting to look ugly.
Commander, a large Dominion force is gathering in the center of town.
Then it's time to call in that special delivery we talked about. Thanks for the assist. We're with you, Rainer.
Work hard. Stand.
So it's staying at about 40 frames a second during gameplay. That's not terrible. And it doesn't look too bad either. It doesn't look fantastic, but it still looks
Things
good.
has a lot to pay for. Thank you, Rainer. We knew you wouldn't forget us.
There's more people still being held up ahead.
I'll see to them.
Marshal Rainer. Been a while since we saw you around here.
We're with you, Raiders!
Staying right at 40.
This is a
That's
restricted
not
area.
bad.
You insurgents are under arrest. We got your
That's
back.
playing smooth too. Like that actually feels pretty good. So StarCraft isn't bad. It's playable. It's not excellent by any means. The GTX 1080 can go a lot further than what this thing's letting it do. So, alright, let's move on to the next game. Now we're going to try Tomb Raider just to see what it can do. So it's basically just all normal, very low level stuff. I've turned off reflections and depth of field, but let's go to the benchmark and see what it can do. So minimum of 17.8, max of 64, an average of 47. That's not terrible, though it was really rough at the beginning. I'm going to run it a second time just to see if it needed to load things up first, and that's why it was kind of choppy, and then got smooth, or if it's just rough at the first. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's doing a whole lot better. So we did a whole lot better that time. So 38.8, max of 64, or minimum of 38.8, max of 64, an average of 56.4. So that's that for Tomb Raider. Now let's try The Sims 3, because this is what my girls are actually going to want to be playing on this machine. Wow, that's some frames right there. Got 1500 frames. That's good. Wow, that was really, really slow. So The Sims 3, I've got literally everything maxed out except for draw distance, which I could probably actually increase that a little bit, but everything's maxed out, and pulling, you know, 80, 90 frames a second at times, and well, it's actually a pretty smooth experience. It gets choppy because there's so many frames coming at it, and sometimes it drops down to like 30 frames a second, but immediately goes right back up. So this is fully playable for The Sims as far as I'm concerned. I need to go enable VSync inside the Nvidia control panel, but it's good. Now that we've tested a bunch of different games in it, granted they're all older games, except for Tomb Raider, I guess that's still older, but overall, it got a lot better performance than I expected it to. StarCraft 2 and Diablo was kind of iffy. I mean, it was playable on it, but I'm not sure I would actually want to with that. Maybe the resolution would need to be lowered a little bit more to make it just a little bit more playable. It can be done, but if those are the games you're wanting to play, I wouldn't suggest doing that to this old of a machine. Get a faster processor. But Sims 3 and Tomb Raider were surprisingly good. I was able to max out Sims 3, which I really wasn't expecting to do, and it still ran great and looked great at max resolution. So this is going to be a great kid's computer for the time being. They're not going to have to deal with it for very long, but I want them to have something in the meantime while I'm working on something else for them. I have some other ideas of what I want to try to do with this, so subscribe to my channel so you can see that coming up in the future. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I hope you leave a comment in the section below telling me what you guys think about the whole thing. But if you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button, and hopefully you want to see more of my stuff coming up, so hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much. There we go.